Hello, welcome to Soulprint Insights. Before I get started, I just want to take a moment to thank everyone for all of your support of this channel. It is very heartwarming to me. This channel is sort of special. This is the one I hold a little closer to my heart. And so I'm very pleased with the acceptance that it has received and the support. So I just want to say thank you very, very much for that. Every view, every thumbs up, every comment, it's special. It's so special to me. So thank you. So, as most of you know, a lot of the information that gets passed along in the Insights channel is channeled information. Some of it is channeled from very high sources. Some of it is channeled through Masudius. Some of it is angelic channeling, but that's sort of a lot of the content. So today I want to just share with you, literally like yesterday, I had a channeling session where I asked the reason. I simply wanted to know what the higher purpose of this virus is and how it is connected to the vibrational shift that we are all undergoing. And so that is the information that I'm going to be sharing with you today. I do want to make a point before I get to that. Anytime you are dealing with this sort of a real shift, okay, it is not a tower moment, okay? It's not going to happen in one big swoop where all of a sudden the whole earth is just lifted and we're now sitting at this higher vibration. That's not kind of how it's going to work. And if there's one thing the last little while has taught us is that sometimes a revolution can be really, really like dangerous. And so you want an evolution, right? You want things to move forward in a way so that people can grasp them and that people can, sort of grow with it or evolve with it. So I just want to point that out in case any of you out there are thinking that this vibrational shift is going to be like a, I don't know, a moment from, Revelations or something. I don't know, but it's not. It's a process, okay? And right now, so let's understand this, right? So for the last 100 years, to varying degrees in various waves, we have had people coming onto the planet who have either been part of the pre-prep work, who have been part of putting into place the attitudes and the ideas, putting into place the people who would be able to assist, putting into place the people who would be able to think outside the box and deal with the new challenges and the new reality. So it doesn't make sense to think, oh, okay, so we did 100 years of that. It's just going to take like a couple of weeks or a couple of months or even a couple of years, and it's all going to be like different. It's an evolution. So, and I'm not saying it's going to take the next 100 years, but I will say that those of us who are of an age, we're here at the beginning of it, and we're going to be able to watch the culmination of it from a different plane, okay? This is a process. Please don't lose sight of that, because when you start to think things are going to happen really quickly and then they don't, it sets up this sort of feeling of frustration, and it's not necessary because the intention was never for it to move as fast as perhaps we all wished or would have liked for it to move, okay? So here's the question. Masudius, what is the higher purpose of COVID-19 and how is it connected to the vibrational shift? For every vibrational shift in both energy and consciousness, there is a triggering event that allows for the focus to be corrected. First, There have been and currently are rulers of countries that are not light-filled, and their motives and their behavior reflect that lower vibration energy. Unfortunately, most of those rulers and their countries have been allowed to function with a high degree of autonomy. Until the USA election in 2016 created an environment in which people and countries alike started to pay very close attention because the risk. Sorry, apparently Tika also has something to say about this vibrational shift. So until the election and people started to pay attention, the reason they were paying attention was because the risk of the pendulum swing too far beyond those behaviors deemed appropriate into actual danger and upheaval became pronounced because of the believed power and strength of the country. The election result was the result of apathy among those who couldn't or wouldn't see beyond their immediate concerns and look towards the bigger picture. Some believe the election of Trump was destined. And this is correct in that he was the result of a focus on the smaller picture. So literally what they're saying is because he drew the energy down to a much more base level, and that was in sync with him, that created the momentum enough that is why he got elected. He triggered those emotional responses and those fear responses in people. In terms of the election results, the COVID-19 virus in terms of the election result and the COVID-19 virus, they are the effect of the cause, as is currently being experienced, so that the results of these attitudes can be realized. Understand the virus is part of a much larger experience for the planet and her civilization. But the uniquely difficult experiences of the United States are the result of, or have become the manifestation of, a narrow and antiquated way of thought that is not in keeping with a upward vibrational shift. So kind of what they're saying literally is that if the United States had had a president in office who was more enlightened, the response of the United States would have been more enlightened, which would then have mitigated or lessened some of the really, really difficult results that you're now experiencing. Looking to this effect of the plague globally, it also is the expected result when there is no respect for the earth, her peoples, her animal, fish, and bird life. When there is no respect for the place and the blessings that give you life and sustenance, is it surprising at all that respect for human life, health, or well-being is placed significantly below the quest for power and greed. Now, so this, I want to just take a moment here. So some people think that this virus was created in a lab in China. And maybe they were creating it and somehow it just, it wasn't malicious, but maybe somehow it just got out and it started to spread. And before it could be contained, it was like everywhere. Some people, most people, I think, believe that it came from one of the wet markets in China where they sell a lot of wild animal life like bats and snakes and okay, and they don't have really amazing sanitation, so the blood and the guts and the ick is like kind of rolling down the street, if you will. And so, of course, the risk of something like exploding into the air is like massive. But irregardless of where it came from, if the Chinese government gave what the people of China needed, and they stopped being so greedy for their own power and their own whatever they think they've got going on, the people would have the money or the wherewithal to be able to get products to eat that are something other than bats and snakes. And eventually that culture perhaps would shift and change. Just saying, okay? When it comes right down to it, power and greed tend to be at the root of a whole lot of what we're experiencing personally, in terms of our communities, our countries, and we see the effect globally. The current experience allows for clear vision of what, as a people, you will and won't accept as acceptable, normal, or allowable. So part of the purpose of the COVID-19 hitting, as it has with the intensity that it has, is it creates that opportunity literally for a reset button. Be that in your personal lives, your work experiences, the governments you choose, and the priorities you set. Come on, paper, work with me here. The experience of this pandemic is an opportunity to accomplish several goals. As a civilization, you have been so connected that you are disconnected. So used to life moving at such a rapid pace that very little holds your attention for very long. So here now is the blessing of slowing down, paring down to basics, paying real attention to what is going on in your interconnecting circles of home, country, and global. It is the intention that with this opportunity, more and more individuals will come to a consciousness that will allow for a vibrational shift. You must understand that the energy cannot lift higher if it is being held in place by a lack of focus or intention. There is also an opportunity for many who have either determined it is time to go or have chosen to experience illness and even death as an opportunity to give for the higher good. So whether that is to bring awareness or whether that is to bring medical information, for many, it has been a choice to make this sacrifice, because you must remember that at a deeper level, we all know we're indestructible. We very often forget that, right? We really do. This has allowed for the Lightworkers, Earth Angels, and all the other various souls that have come together to help this shift to grow and to come to understand their own unique gifts and abilities. And I think that a lot of you out there really are discovering some new abilities or gifts that you have. Some of you are reawakening ones that you've had for a long time and you sort of let go dormant. And certainly for many, using the gifts has become sort of much more a regular part of their daily, weekly function. It is an opportunity for those who are or have been disconnected to reconnect in whatever way has meaning for them. It is a powerful reminder that you, each and every one, hold within you the power to create change and choose free will. It is an opportunity to become closer to the energy that will come into being if and when this shift takes place. And the reason they're using if and when is because, again, it is all about our intentions, our free will, our ability to lift up that vibration in whatever way we are able. Whether that is joining a prayer group or whether that has been, really honing your psychic or intuitive abilities, whether that is really amping up your healing skills or abilities, whether that is through music or art or literature. We all have gifts to share. The vibration shift creates a new life experience in a higher and lighter plane of consciousness and reality. The veil will thin. Your personal psychic gifts will become amplified so that communication and indeed connection to a higher level of awareness becomes the new experience. The planet can be given an opportunity to rebalance itself after a period of reckless destruction of her resources. There will be a greater chance for souls to again reevaluate those elements of a life experience that are important and those which serve no or limited purpose to the experiences of the soul. That paragraph is so full of information, it can make your head swim if you really, really think about what they've just said. They've talked about the thinning of the veil, which means we're going to be able to connect with other energy vibrations much more quickly and much more easily. It's allowing for an awareness and a communication with those higher vibrations. It gives the planet an opportunity to take a deep breath and try to recover from some of the destruction that has gone on it. And it gives souls, it gives each of us the opportunity to reevaluate those things that we consider important and to really be able to take a look at whether or not the things that are currently in our life serve us or have a limited purpose that it really is time to let go of. Much like an alternative reality or life experience, and they're talking about a spiritual alternative reality, not a political one. Those unable or unwilling to shift will remain in the vibration and understanding in which they are comfortable in having their experiences. So I'm going to have to leave kind of a deeper explanation of that, of sort of the alternative reality and what that means, or an alternative life experience. I'm going to have to save that for another time. But basically what it's talking about is that there will be a group of people who stay in this place mentally and physically, and because this is their comfort zone, this is where they are, this is where they're learning experiences. And then there will be another group who shift and move to a different mental, emotional, and physical space, but it's still very much going to feel like this space, except what we allow, what we experience within the space is going to be different. So you're going to have almost like two realities going on simultaneously. And for those of you that think that sounds just absolutely outrageous, it's not. And, you know, I will give you more information on that in the near future. Okay, so this is a time of unimaginable growth and illumination, following a time of unimaginable pain, loss, and suffering. If it is helpful to you, we would like to remind you that each and every journey into a physical life that you take is about the experience for the soul. I'm going to repeat that. Every journey that you choose to take into a physical life is about the experience the soul will have. So it may be helpful to remember that what you often perceive as a tragedy is not viewed as such from a higher awareness of your soul. This experience is multi-layered, with implications that are far-reaching and impact not only your galaxy and universe, but many others in the continual dance of the ever-expanding reality, the true reality, not the illusion you buy into for the physical experience. That is why, as has happened before, to this extent and degree, that is why this has never happened before, to this extent and degree upon the earth, are there so many in place to assist in this transition. They are with you in many forms, be they you, others on the planet, energy and angelic beings, not only from your universe, not only from our reality, but so many others are in place to fulfill this higher mission of all that is and all that will ever be. With complete awareness that this is so very important to the progression of the human experience. So part of what they're saying there is we have tried this before, this vibrational shift, and we haven't really been successful in sort of doing it in a huge global way. So Atlantis, Lemuria, right? That explains what sort of happened there. Part of them were able to shift and levitate, but for the most part, the planet itself stayed in a very stuck state, if you will. And it's getting to the point where this planet cannot keep staying in this stuck state, or frankly, we're going to explode it. Okay? So this is the point in time where either we get it right, excuse me, or we suffer the permanent consequences of that. And so into place have rushed all kinds of energy beings and light workers, and from this place, from other times, from other dimensions, from other universes, to help make this actually a success this time. Know that you are not alone. Know that what appears to be a tragedy is not always one, and that you have, each and every one, chosen to have this experience in whatever way you are experiencing these events. Stay connected with each other, with your highest intentions and vibrational level and your source. You are not, never have been, and will not be in your future ever alone. We hope this has been helpful, and that we hope that this has been helpful, and that another facet of clarity has been understood. We thank you for the opportunity to share our wisdom and understanding with you. For we, and they're talking about the Masudius group, we have for eons past watched over, cared for, and brought understanding to your particular planet. We remain Masudius. This is another one you might want to listen to a time or two. And again, all channeled information is copyrighted. So, thank you so much for being here. I hope that this has given you some clarity, some insight, and some hope. Until next time, stand in your strength and stand in your light.